It's rare that I'm impressed by a game, but this game really impressed me. With stunning visuals, great audio work, really interesting enemies, and the most tense and immersive gameplay I've found. It's a game where the best recommendation I can give you is to go in completely blind, because that adds so much to the experience. Being surprised by how good this is and discovering it for yourself. The short summary is that you and up to 3 of your friends go on a spaceship to complete an objective and solve a mystery. But enemies and the environment will make it difficult for you, but you will have tools and weaponry to help you out. And you will need to complete puzzles to move through the ship and get to the objective and then get out. You earn money and buy yourself upgrades, which make harder difficulties easier. It is early access and that's the main issue, because I want more. What I have is not enough. After 16 hours I've seen everything and the really strong early wow factor this game has is mostly gone, and it's getting a little repetitive. So that's a good argument for at least wishlisting the game and getting it when it's ready. By the way, you can absolutely play the game solo. That's pretty much what I can say without spoiling anything. I hope that was enough to convince you to play the game, because I really loved it and I wanted to succeed. The small team that's making this deserve that, because it's clear that they're dedicated to making an amazing experience. It does have its little annoyances like every game, but I feel that those annoyances here are part of what makes the game so great. And the game is only $10. Now we're gonna move into spoilers, so if I convinced you to get the game, then like and subscribe and stop watching until you've played a few hours of the game. And then come back to listen to how much you agree with me gushing about how great this game is. Gameplay! You take a very loud and visually stunning shuttle trip over to a dark and spooky spaceship, and have to make your way to the command deck with your trusty flashlight and minimap tool. On the way you will hear some spooky sounds and see a lot of bodies. Once at the command deck, you turn the power back on and then look at the map to get the location of your mission objective. And there's a terminal with information about all the monsters in the game and how to identify them, which is just the victim's cause of death. You also see the enemy's weaknesses there. So it's a good idea to take a look at how all these people died, because that's how you'll die. You turned the power back on, so it's hunting you now. If a corpse is missing a face, then the enemy you have is probably the face-eating ghost. Or it's the hulking mutant abomination that just pummels you to death. Okay, clearly the mutant should leave different corpses. Like it should be leaving just body parts spread around or something. That would make more sense. But it actually is great that 2 enemies leave the same bodies, because then you have to identify them by sound. At least until they appear in front of you and you flubber like an idiot. Getting through the map. Depending on where you need to go, you will have different puzzles to solve to get there. These puzzles are easy. The intention behind them is more to make you spend more time in an area and travel around, giving you more opportunities to spend a lovely time with your pet monster. One of the puzzles is getting key cards to open a door, and they're just spread all over the place, so you have to pay attention to the environment to find them. Which you should already be doing, because you can find guns. They usually have a loud beep so you can find them, but sometimes they don't, so you have to pay attention. There's 3 normal guns: a shotgun, assault rifle, and an SMG. And you'll love them, because some monsters go away for a while if you shoot them enough. And the shooting feels good. Back to puzzles. Another is having to get into a room through the vents, which is hard if you don't have the minimap tool, because you have to have a firm sense of where you are going, and the monster's preferred way of traveling the ship is the vents. So you can get trapped in there with the monster, and that unlocks a new level of claustrophobia. Han ser mig, han fucking ser mig.
Getur þú hoppað niður eða?
Nei, okay, bara. I was my team's primary vent boy, and I am scarred for life. Another is opening valves on pipes. There's a terminal that tells you which valves need to be turned, and then once turned, you just press start to open the door to where you need to go. And then you run past the ship reactor, which emits an instant death wave every 20 seconds. That's very fun. There are more puzzles, but let's leave some mystery. Getting through the ship is very immersive. Interacting with the terminals and all the buttons, and having to pay attention to everything. It really makes you locked into the experience. Okay, the main challenge and the selling point. The monsters. How do they work and what do they do? Well, the squid shoves your head up its own ass and then decapitates you. That doesn't actually tell you much. Okay, the monsters are constantly looking for you and you can hide from them. That's right, we have stealth here. When they find you, you'll either have to shoot them or run away. Each of the monsters attacks in a different way, and some might not attack you depending on what you do. A great example is the face-eating ghost. You just have to not look at him and then he won't kill you. Which is why I barely have any footage of him. But I do have footage of him trying to make me look at him by turning my screen towards him. So I have to fight him with a mouse, which is really nerve-wracking. The mutant just charges at you, so you either shoot him a lot or run away and hide. And then eventually he will go away for a while. The squid just does whatever. Sometimes he attacks, sometimes he runs away, sometimes one shot makes him run away, other times he needs a mag or two before he gets the point. The robot is interesting. He shows up and tries to grab you and drill a hole in your head. Unless you have a friend nearby in his field of vision, then he's a gentle little ball of indestructible asshole. And by the way, if your friend is directly behind you, then he can't see your friend. Which means you're getting drilled, buddy. I like him the least because he forces you to travel as a group, all together, and there is player collision. And you can get stuck on other players, which will activate the claustrophobia you didn't know you had. Also, he has an energy shield, so he's invulnerable to pretty much all damage. Which is pretty annoying. I really want to shoot him to make him go away. My absolute favorite enemy is the Scorpion, because he makes zombies, which turns the game into a zombie survival game where you are constantly on edge. Where the best defense is shooting the zombies, making the guns matter more. And then you step under a vent and the Scorpion injects you with poison and it slowly builds up and then you die. And you see yourself running towards your friends to rip them to shreds. God, that's a cool detail. And then what I really like, when you're gonna kill the Scorpion, you have to burn all the bodies. Which means finding a flamethrower somewhere in the level. The command deck map helps here. I love slowly burning the bodies to ash. It's like cleaning the mess. You'll see in the next video why this appeals to me. When there are no bodies, the Scorpion will personally show up to mess your day up. But you have a flamethrower, and he does not like being burned. And honestly, it just feels like bullying. It's so effective on him. Exploiting their weaknesses is the key to killing the enemies. It's the same for capturing them. Like for the squid, you have to bait him into your cage and then shoot him with guns a lot and then light him on fire and close the door, and congratulations, you have a pet squid. Okay, I don't want to tell you more about the enemies, I want to leave some mystery. Because the process of discovery is really great here. Learning the monsters and learning the map is just fantastically executed, and then using that knowledge to finally kill the monsters is really cathartic. Just to cover all the mission types, there are 4 of them. I've told you all you need to know about kill and capture specimen. The other 2 are extract the data, where you have to find a black box in the map and take it back to the ship. Close the door, making sure the monster is not on your ship when you close it, and then leave that hellhole. Once you get the hang of the monsters, the extraction missions become very easy, where I finished them in like 10 minutes without dying. Then there is Destroy the Area, where you go to the reactor and cause it to overload and then run back to your ship as everything explodes around you. Good adrenaline pumping action. But these are our least favorite because it takes too long compared to the extraction missions and is less fun than the kill missions. Then there are the map modifiers, like low power, where basically the lights are off or at least very low. This is great to show off how good the lighting is. No tier 1 weapons, which means you won't have your pistol and have to find guns. Paid ammo and healing. I hate this because I always forget the map had this and lose a significant portion of my payout to this. And the last example is unstable power. You have respawn capsules you have to sign into, and when the power goes off, so do the respawn capsules. Then if you die permanently. These modifiers are a great way to make the game less repetitive. They just need more of them. And more enemies. And a new map. Which is actually coming in the summer. That's gonna be great. Progression. You get paid from missions and spend that on upgrades and equipment. You can upgrade the pistol so it has 30 bullets and deals more damage, and you can upgrade armor for damage reduction. Make your flashlight last longer and upgrade stamina to run longer. And upgrade the minimap so it shows you a larger area. You can buy a health injector to heal yourself and friends, which also nullifies the zombie virus. You can get a threat detector to track the monster. Now you are hunting it. There's also a shield, but none of us used it. I would assume it blocks damage. Then you can buy the TMP, which is more like a small SMG than a pistol, and a very powerful and expensive revolver, which I didn't buy, but my girlfriend bought it, and it seems more like a hand cannon than a revolver. There's also ship upgrades, like buying a contract terminal for your ship so you don't have to keep running outside the ship to select contracts. Healing and ammo stations for the ship, and of course the cage to capture the monsters. But the real money sink is buying the specimen cells. It's 10,000 credits per cell, and the hardest missions pay a little under 8,000. But missions can take anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes, so depending on the missions you want to do, it won't be that much of a grind. It's good progression, you always have something to work toward, but I don't want to play more right now because of that. I want to leave some stuff for the next updates. Gameplay, awesome. Story. There's not really a story, it's more like lore that you read in a terminal, in one of those 10,000 credit cells. It's basically just reports about where the monster is from, or where it was discovered, and how it got to the HSS Hawking. Here's an example. The robot was a military robot that sucked, so it got repurposed as a mining robot. But his AI got messed up, so he started looking for minerals in people's skulls. It's written pretty good. I like the dry military/science style reports. Adds a little realism. But yeah, the story needs a lot more before it becomes something you can sink your teeth into. Conclusion. I love survival horror games like this, where you get to hunt down and fight the monster and actually kill it. Where you start off afraid of the monster and then it becomes afraid of you, because you learn its patterns and outsmart it. It feels really good. Species Unknown is a really good game, with some of the most interesting enemy AI and gameplay mechanics I've seen. And when me and my friends first played it, we were all just blown away by how good looking the game is. The shuttle trip is the first immediate wow factor. I personally really enjoyed the sound, especially when I was solo killing a specimen and was tracking it down just by sound. And just in general, knowing where the monster is by the sound, or even what mood the monster is in, it's great. Also, the game has insanely good performance. In terms of the annoyances the game has, it's just player collision and getting stuck on things while running, which is my fault and it absolutely should be part of the game. But the annoyance with the robot is more debatable, because it is really annoying that unless you have its weakness equipped, you really can't do anything to it, and just have to run away. But at the same time, that's good because that is good enemy diversity. It makes him different from the others. And we don't want the same things to work on all the monsters. That makes a boring game. The biggest flaw is just early access. There is not enough content here. Well, actually, for $10 it's pretty good. But it's not a complete experience. It gets pretty samey and repetitive after a while. Like, I know pretty much everything there is to know in the game now. And having experienced it in this incomplete way now might lessen your enjoyment of it later when it actually is a complete experience. So my recommendation would be to wishlist the game and keep an eye on it and then buy it on full release. Because it already is an amazing game, and I really enjoyed my 16 hours with it in its incomplete state. And I can't wait until it's fully released. It's going to be awesome. And I give the game a squid ripping your head off. Out of, just wait until you try to kill the robot. Then you'll taste true fear. Next video is a game you will probably make fun of me for enjoying. Until then, like and subscribe, call me Uncle Brian, and have an amazing day. No.